Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to talk about some of the key features of an in-season off-mat wrestling strength and conditioning program. Now you're probably wondering as an athlete, honestly, Coach Bott, how could I possibly fit in more training if I'm actually practicing, 4 to 5 days a week? You might be wondering, how do I get ready for a weekend competition? What constitutes a taper? How do I peak for really key competitions? What does that look like? How can I maintain my strength, but, still make my weight class and cut weight? Is that even possible? Do I need the same training volumes as I did in the off season to keep my fitness up? These are all great questions. And the reason why I came up with these questions is because these are the things that the athletes ask me as their strength and conditioning specialist. So, I do have that firsthand sort of experience working with these athletes and really tuning into the real problems and the real day-to-day sort of aspects of high performance that they face. Athletes often say to me, how do I balance it all? How do I juggle my school, my homework? I've got to travel. Maybe I'm on the bus for 8 hours on a Friday. I'm more stressed and fatigued than ever. Those are real problems. How do I manage my injuries and still maintain my fitness? Maybe that athlete has a shoulder problem or they tweak their knee. Should they be taking time off completely? Or maybe there's things that they could be doing to supplement while that joint heals and while they're off the mats. Well, what I'm going to tell you guys right now is at the Wrestler's Edge here, we've got you covered. Okay, because I've spent so much time in the trenches with skin in the game, working with actual athletes versus sort of hanging out behind my computer, it gave me great insight into developing this program, and it's actually giving me more insight into improving this program. So I'm going to share with you some of the key features of what we have come up with the in-season Wrestler's Edge training phase. So what I've done to begin with is I've given athletes different options for off-mat training, different templates to accommodate different schedules. I realize that some of the athletes following this plan might be in middle school, which is junior high school. They might be in high school. They might even be in the collegiate system. And that presents, unique differences between each one. So I've come up with a sort of a flexible template, if you will, where you might want to look at schedule 1 and practice, Monday to Thursday. Maybe if you're doing that and you're traveling on a Friday, you're doing a particular lift only once a week, and then you're selecting a couple of different workouts for the Wednesday. So there's workout number 1 or workout number 2. And the Wrestler's Edge program, the in-season program, has actually quite a bit of flexibility. It's almost like a buffet in that you can pick whether you want to do workout 1 or 2. One isn't better than the other. They're just a little bit different. And it helps with a little bit of the monotony that can come with training. As you can see, I've inserted mobility drills in on a Thursday with a practice. It's probably a situational practice, lots of tactical decision making, probably low volume in order to get ready to compete on that particular Saturday session if there is a competition. Now, what about the athlete that's not competing on the weekend but is still considered to be in season? So sometimes athletes will start their wrestling season mid-October. They might have a match or a tournament on a Saturday, and then the weekend after is a bye week, or maybe it's a stat holiday. They're not competing. So should they be continuing to train? Absolutely. To me, that's an opportunity to continue to boost your fitness so that way when you do come back and you compete, you're ready to go, okay? And the coaches love that, right, guys? So if you keep on top of things, coaches are going to recognize that and they're going to notice it in practice. So in situation 2, you can see that I've got 2 lifts scheduled and then a workout on the Wednesday and a workout on the Saturday. And again, that's a really specific selection of what we're doing in order to allow the body to recover from training and to adapt to all of these practices during the week. So those are just a couple options that are available in the Wrestler's Edge in-season training program. We've also got you covered when it comes to maintaining muscle mass and strength, and we're going to show you how it's done with very low volume sessions. You may have followed programs in the past where you've done up to 10, 15 different exercises per lifting session. Well, in season, you're only going to be doing 6 exercises. And I call them impactful exercises because they're going to give you the most return on your investment of time. We're also using a very low set scheme. So you're going to see anywhere between 2 and 4 or 5 sets versus 5 or 6 sets of major key exercises, because now's not the time to be accumulating volume. It's the time to be adapting, and it's the time to make sure that you're also recovered to be able to compete at a high level. And I'm also recommending, if you're competing on the weekend, you can get away with lifting only once per week. As long as the stimulus is sufficient and you're not decreasing the intensity, you're going to maintain your muscle mass and you will maintain your strength. So this is also for that athlete that might choose to do a little bit more conditioning from the perspective of sweating and reducing body mass for weight cutting. So we've built that all in. And here it gives you a little bit of an example. Day 2 is optional, only if you're not competing. And as you can see, we've got 4 sets of 3 for the first exercise, 5 sets of 3 for the second and the third. Then we get even further down the line to working only in 3 sets. And if you count out the actual drills, we've got 6 of them, and we've got everything from full body here, power cleans and squats, into more multi-joint upper body with a military press. We've got a single leg deadlift, and then we've got a renegade row, which is a pulling exercise. So, and then of course at the top we start with power. So as you can see, this is what we call a vertically integrated periodization scheme. That's a bit of a mouthful for me, where you'll see we've got power covered, we've got some strength, max strength covered, and we've also got some assistance exercises to round out the programming. And then as you can see, there are some trunk and neck exercises that I still do recommend athletes complete while they are in season, but I've suggested that they just pick 3 drills from the 6 listed here, so they don't have to do the same things necessarily every week, and they don't have to do all 6. So that gives athletes just a little bit to choose from. You also might be dealing with minor injuries. I mean, this is part of sport, you guys. You're going to have sniggly things going on. You're going to have sore shoulder. You might have a sore hip, knee, ankle, or whatever. And the main thing is we're not going to stop training. Okay, it doesn't give you that excuse to stop moving your body. It just gives you, you have to have a problem solving approach. So it gives you that, whereby you are now going to choose a training modality that's not going to make the problem worse. And you're probably going to need to work with a therapist on that, like an athletic therapist or a physical therapist, chiropractor, whoever you use. But you're going to modify some things, but you're not going to stop training. And I've put some ideas together with respect to different workouts that you can follow if you can't be on the mats, but you need the stimulation of a high intensity exercise program. So there is no time for time off. And there's also a bonus program provided you for the December holiday break. So a lot of times kids go home at Christmas time, or if they celebrate Christmas, or they might just celebrate their own holiday. But needless to say, they're going to be off the mats. And again, is this a time to just pig out on junk food and cookies and turkey or whatever it is you might have? Or is this an opportunity that you're not maybe studying or in school to get more sleep, okay, and to train a little bit more, to boost up your training over that break? So here's an example of some extra conditioning that might be done. Now, here on the example spreadsheet, all you see is workout 1, workout 2, workout 5, workout 4, and so on. Please know that in the program, there is extremely detailed explanations of every single one of these different types of workouts. So again, if let's say you have an injury where you can't load a joint, you can't do anything that's high impact, you might choose to do workout number 4. For example, which is a repeated bike interval. So that's really the end of my little talk. Keep in mind, guys, that champions always do extra. Okay, and I don't know what that looks like for you as an athlete or maybe as a coach if you're following me, but it usually means that you're dotting all those I's and you're crossing your T's. So hopefully you found this helpful, and all the things that I just showed you are included in the in-season program. We've got, I think it's a 20-week program. I include tapers, so you'll see periods of unloading in there as well, where we've reduced training volume. And you can go to www.fightcampconditioning.com to pick it up. All right, thanks very much and happy training.